Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Nerds Drink Whiskey. To start out with, thank you. To start out with, we do need to mention that the Pendleton we were trying, it was Canadian style, but it was the Pendleton from Oregon. So, but this week we're starting out with R&R. But before we go into that, we're going to do a deep dive on a nerd news story. For those who follow our Facebook page or on our YouTube page, we do nerd news every morning at 6 a.m. And every other week, we're going to do a deep dive on one of the nerd news stories. So one of the nerd news stories is, if you haven't heard, Carrie Fisher, of course, passed away. We all knew that. But she is going to be in the next Star Wars film. And it was announced that they are going to use unused footage to bring her back. So my question is, how do you make sure that this icon, this legend, that we say goodbye to her with respect, and that we give her goodbye send-off, and we give her an honorable death, and you're only using old footage? I don't know. Do you think they're going to be able to pull that off?
They'll probably use some trick camera between one of the actors and her.
They said no CGI.
I know they only said no CGI, but I think they'll dub her. I think she will be dubbed.
Right, so they'll use visuals of her, and then they'll overdo the voice and see the back of her head while she's talking, so they don't have to match the mouth movements and that kind of stuff. And you can create a whole new scene with just the visuals of her face for certain parts. Is how you expect them to. Yeah, I mean that seems reasonable.
Mark Hamill did comment on that. He said that from what he knows, it's gonna be respectful.
Yeah. So I don't know. What's your thoughts? How do you think they're going to be able to pull it off? And do you think that we're going to feel like this iconic character, this beloved character, is going to get a proper goodbye?
Well, when it comes down to it, I mean, all I saw immediately was that they said that they were going to use unused footage from The Force Awakens. Now, could that be 30 seconds? Could that be 45 minutes? We don't know. It all really depends on how much footage they actually had. It could be, like y'all said, the back of her head and her voice, for all we know. It could be, you were saying like no CGI. I certainly hope that there's no CGI in that. That would just really ruin the whole thing. Now, it's going to be interesting because not only are they doing this with Carrie Fisher, but Billy D. Williams is coming back, and so is Mark Hamill, although Mark Hamill was supposedly died in 8.
Force Ghost.
Force Ghost.
Yeah, see, so I don't know how this is going to go, but I'm really hoping that Catherine Kennedy, she stepped down, correct?
She has not stepped down. The rumor is that Kathleen Kennedy will step down in the fall.
Oh, okay, so like September.
That's the rumor.
Okay.
That's the rumor. There's been no official word.
The new rumor is if 9 does well, she may not step down.
Well,
I've heard Bob Iger doesn't want her there anymore.
Yeah, but nobody wants to take her job. They offered it to J.J. Abrams, and he said, nope.
Yep, nobody wants to take her job. So
I got another theory, too, on that. J.J. Abrams is directing this, so it might be a lot of lens flare. You might not see her face.
That was good. All right. Anybody have anything to say? What do you think that they'll pull off Carrie Fisher's goodbye properly? Jeremy, you're gonna.
I got it.
Okay. So, by the way, go for it.
If anybody can do it, Disney can do it.
All right.
Thank you. Well, obviously, we all love Carrie Fisher. We all love Princess Leia, both her, the person, and the character. Unlike Luke and Han, the actress died and not the character. So we want to see her. We want to say goodbye to her. J.J. Abrams is directing, so of course he's going to use footage from Force Awakens because it'll be something that he directed. So it really depends what it is, what the scene or scenes are. It could be like a scene of something really heartfelt, something good, maybe her hugging Billy Lord or something nice and sweet. They'll probably use stuff from Last Jedi too. Honestly, there's nothing they can do that'll please everybody. Like, there will be that sect of super nerds who are going to complain about it no matter what. You know, and it'll depend how it is, but it'll be really cool because we all love Carrie Fisher. I do, you know, and my dad, who's just sick to death of Star Wars because how much I watch it, but he's one of those people that grew up with it, and said like, yeah, no, now that all the people are dead and all the characters that I like are gone, I'm not going to see the next one. I said, hey, Dad, Carrie Fisher's going to be in this one. You know, how cool is that? And he was like, yeah, now I'm going to see it. So it is working. It is still a marketing ploy, you know, and it's working. You know, maybe if they left it as a surprise, people would be a little happier with it, which is what I think they should have done. But to each his own.
Well, my little 2 cents on that is I think Rian Johnson was brought in just to make J.J. Abrams look bad, but Rian Johnson is still personally my favorite punching bag. So I'm glad he's not the one that's taking care of Carrie Fisher's goodbye because I think Rian Johnson just needs to go away. But
he's directing the next 3 afterwards, which is scary.
Well, okay, now so here's my thought on the Rian Johnson trilogy. I think that everything we hate about Rian Johnson, or I personally hate Rian, I'm not going to color their panel, but
I
everything
dislike him too.
I cannot stand about Rian Johnson has to do with how his treatment is of iconic characters. The way that Jar Jar Binks was, I'm not Jar Jar Binks, Admiral Akbar. I just lost nerd cred for mixing those 2 names up. But the way that he was killed off screen, but this new character, Lieutenant Holdo, was Admiral Holdo was given this iconic hero's, sacrificial death, whereas, Admiral Akbar is just like, oh yeah, he died off screen. By the
That's
way.
a whole nother direction with that scene too.
Yeah, so there's again, Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher, General Organa does like this Mary Poppins thing. What was up with that? So it's his treatment of iconic characters that are bad. What if Rian Johnson's trilogy has completely new characters? There's no heritage he could piss on, and there's no pot that he could stir, and he just has a completely new creation. I think it actually, as much as I love to bash on him, it might not suck.
I want him to go away. Keep the deaths of the iconic characters. That doesn't sit well with me. He doesn't know anything on the background of Star Wars. He doesn't know about the space combat.
He said so.
I'm sorry, there is no such thing as a laser mortar in space.
Yeah, he said so.
That's horrid.
So yeah, but that's the thing. It's
Say, Star Wars plays loose and fast with physics and all that. Like, that's classic Star. Like, there is no such thing as, we can't Star Wars. It's good on camera.
I think we threw that out into the garbage within seconds of the first movie.
Right. So that's always been part of Star Wars. I think he took it to the next level of ridiculous. But I didn't really not like The Last Jedi. I think it was a big middle finger to J.J. Abrams. Here's all this crap you get to clean up in the next step.
Yeah, J.J. Abrams set up a lot of things, and Rian Johnson just threw it out the windows, left all these plots unopened, blah, blah, blah. Who are Rey's parents? Oh, they're alcoholics, and they traded you for booze or drugs.
But I still say
Simon Pegg will be in 9 too.
I still say that Rey's parents. I still want to go on record as saying Rey's parents. Her grandfather is Emperor Palpatine. I still got to say Rey's grandfather is Emperor Palpatine. So when the next movie comes out and they say something about that, just know that I said
Yes.
Emperor Palpatine is Rey's granddaughter. Yeah. So all right. Do we have any final words before? Yeah. Oh, okay. Final words. He looks like he's got something to say. I like this. He wants to vent a little bit. I like this.
All right. Okay. So in case you got to dismiss everything I'm about to say, like I am a Last Jedi fan. I loved it. Loved it way more than Force Awakens. Am I done? No. Okay. Whether you liked or disliked The Last Jedi, Rian Johnson. 10 times more spine than J.J. Abrams. He did so much daring things, which I think you know that, considering you admitted that he would do awesome with his own trilogy that took place in his own separate part of the galaxy. That would be really cool. I loved Princess Leia in The Last Jedi. I loved the scene of her flying through space. I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was great. I'd be completely happy if that was the last time I got to see her. If you didn't roll your eyes at The Force Awakens being done and Leia not using her Force powers at all, I couldn't wrap my mind around that, you know? I mean, it's one thing to have Han Solo running around the galaxy as a deadbeat dad for 30 years, but then Carrie Fisher not developing her force powers at all 30 years after Return of the Jedi. And I was thinking, J.J. Abrams, you gotta get at it, you gotta go. You gotta go. You can imagine my disdain when I found out he was coming back to do this last one. So let's just hope that Rian Johnson, after doing the best job he could, picking up JJ's horrible pieces of The Force Awakens, that JJ doesn't just set it back off trail again with something horrible and, yeah, you know what I mean, right?
Wow, when you vent, you really like to stir the pot, don't you? Oh, that's... wait, we're being called over here.
I want to give him the assist on this one. I love Last Jedi. And one thing that J.J. Abrams is just known for is starting to tie knots and not making a bow. We think Lost, Alias, all these things start off so strong, and then just we're kind of like, here's a mystery, here's a mystery, here's a mystery. And so, it's like, who's Rey's parents? Who is Snoke? Who's all this? And then when you look at the original trilogy, who was the Emperor in Strikes Back? He was like a hologram. You see 20 seconds of him. And so J.J. Abrams sets up all these threads, and I liked that Rian Johnson was kind of just the universe doesn't care about your heroes. Life goes on. Here, cutting those threads and opening up new things. I thought it was interesting. I don't think you have to take all these mysteries and start trying to tie them all together, because honestly, sometimes the whole mythology of the Star Wars universe can just get kind of incestuous, where it's like, this is someone's father, this is someone's daughter, someone's brother, is this and that. I kind of like introducing new characters who have their own stories. And so, yeah, I'm with you.
I'm being outvoted on my own show.
Back to Technobabble. Star Trek. Technobabble. Next Generation. People to buy at times an episode of Technobabble bullshit. Star Wars is much better.
All right. So, you have anything to say? No, you're good? Okay. All right. So, and for the record, I totally do not mind being outvoted on my own show. It makes things interesting. So, all right. I think we're going to close this episode out, unless you guys have something to say.
We're just discussing some older Star Wars stuff.
Oh, okay.
Theories.
All right. Tangents and yeah. Okay, so that's the end of this episode. We're going to come back and give our review of R&R, and see you next week for another episode of Nerds Drink Whiskey.